Hello everybody and welcome to Wednesday's edition of the Chris Pritchard Cycling News Show. Very important day today. It's the last day to enter the Win Your Dream Bike draw. If you've not done it, you have to do it by midnight tonight UK time if you want to be entered into the draw. The draw is live across our social media platforms on the 2nd of November. I think I'm busy that night. Now, if you want to be like our previous winners, we've got Chris who won an F12, we've got Richard who won an F12, we've got another Chris who won an F10, we've got Ryan who won a Stevens bike, we have Matt who won the Trek, we have Luke who won the Ribble, and we had Richard, our first winner back in July, who took home another F12. It's real, it's legit. The amount of messages I get saying, is this legit? Yeah, it's legit. Yes, I wouldn't be promoting it otherwise. And we want to carry on giving bikes away. We've given over, 40, 50 grand's worth of bikes so far, and we want to carry on doing it. And we want to give you the chance to take home a dream bike. Head over to the website right now, enter your details, answer the skill-based question, buy your tickets, wait for the draw to go live across our social media platforms, as I said, on the 2nd of November. So again with some news? Let's go on with some news. Let's have some news. So first up, let's cover some YouTube news. We've not spoken about anything really apart from racing for the past 2 weeks now, probably even more, 3 or 4 weeks. We've not spoken about anything other than racing. But there is more news other than racing out there in the cycling world, which we're going to cover right now. First up, the vegan cyclist, friend of the show. Hopefully we're going to be getting him on for another podcast soon. He dropped a, I guess you'd call it bro science video. It's a good video if you've got... It's a great video if you've got the time, sit down, watch it, listen to what he's got to say as he tests out 8 different outfits on his bike to find out which one is the most aero. It's bro science, so take it with a pinch of salt, but it is a really good video, so link is down in the description to that one if you want to check it out. And talking about cycling clothing, did you see that ASOS have dropped a brand new winter jacket? Bearing in mind this is a lightweight soft shell jacket, for £575. According to Assos, this is the most technical low-volume winter soft shell we've created to date. Known in-house as the Yoda, the stormproof jacket comes to life with high output efforts, rewarding you with second skin protection and temperature regulation like nothing you've experienced before. I wonder if I could get hold of one of these and do a review on it, because there is no way I'm paying 575 quid for a bloody jacket. It does look nice, it looks beautiful, and if you've had any Assos gear before, you'll know the quality on it is right up there. But 575 quid, are you kidding me? Is there anyone in the chat that would actually buy this? Leave your comments down below. When you're thinking of paying that much money for a jacket, you want something that's described more than just a soft shell. It feels like it's a really lightweight product. But then again, if it's going to keep you warm all winter, does it matter how thick it is? I always feel that cost is equated to thickness. The more expensive it is, the thicker it's going to be. You get more for your money, right? But would you really want it? If this was as thin as a normal Lycra jersey and kept you warm through the winter and you didn't need anything underneath it, apart from like a thin base layer, now that'd be pretty special, wouldn't it? But yeah, if we can somehow try and get our hands on one of these, then be interesting to give it a test. They won't give me one though, will they? They don't care about Pritchard's opinion on anything. Anyway, I want to know your opinion on this jacket. What do you think? Overpriced rubbish, or do you think it would actually be a really high quality product? Leave your comments down below. Next up, let's talk about my favourite subject on this channel, politics. Well, it's not really politics. It's just the fact that Keir Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party, was involved in a road traffic accident which involved a cyclist. Back in December last year, Keir Starmer unveiled plans to make England one of the safest cycling and walking friendly places in the world. And his proposal was to include 5,000 kilometres of cycleways, creating cycling and walking routes to primary schools and offering financial incentives to people buying bikes and e-bikes. Now, based on those proposals alone, he's going to get my vote if he could actually make them come through. Imagine England being as tolerant as the Netherlands, Belgium, Denmark when it comes to cyclists. Imagine. It just changed the whole face of this country. People would actually ride around with smiles on their faces. Imagine knowing that your kids are riding to school and it's safe. Anyway, sorry, that wasn't the point of the story. That was just a mini Pritchard rant. But Keir Starmer was involved in a road traffic accident involving a cyclist. Luckily, the cyclist came off with only minor arm injuries. He was taken to hospital as a precaution, but it's not really news, is it? I just felt like I'd put it in because it's got politics in it and a road traffic accident involving a cyclist. Luckily, the cyclist wasn't injured, so it's not really a news story, really, is it? It's just the fact that he's a Labour leader and cyclists, and I do cycling. Not a story, is it? I've let myself down, and it's just so I could put him in the thumbnail. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's move on to some real cycling news now. Eesh. All right, so let's talk racing news now. The Giro d'Italia might have finished, but the arguments are still continuing. Director of the Giro, Marco Vegni, has made it clear that he wants some sanctions brought down on EF Education and Jumbo-Visma for trying to cock up his Giro d'Italia. They didn't really try and cock it up, they were just trying to... Well, Jumbo-Visma ended up pulling out of the Giro after Steven Kruijswijk tested positive for COVID. That comes after Mitchelton Scott pulled themselves out after Simon Yates had tested positive and 4 other members of the team. And EF Pro Cycling, they wrote a letter to the UCI and the organisers of the Giro asking the Giro to be stopped on the second rest day, as they felt that the Giro bubble had been compromised and there was going to be more and more positive tests. Turns out that wasn't the case. If the bubble was compromised, they managed to get it back in check, and there was it 2 positive COVID tests? I think, I can't remember now. 2 potential positive tests during that second rest day. And then don't forget, on top of that, you've got stage 19 where the riders held a mini protest. They had the stage shortened. Vegni was not happy about that, and he said people will pay for that, and it looks like he's following through on his promise, potentially not inviting Jumbo-Visma or EF Pro Cycling to the 2021 Giro d'Italia. But I'm not too sure if you can... I don't know what the rules are on that, but I'm sure if you're a World Tour team, you automatically get invited to the event, and you can't help thinking that having 2 of the biggest teams in the world not there is a little bit short-sighted. Yes, potentially he might want them to pay for almost bringing a stop to his Giro d'Italia. But on the other hand, maybe he should be thanking them. If Jumbo-Visma had not pulled out and they were part of that compromised bubble and they ended up spreading the infection around a little bit more, potentially on that second rest day, there might have been more positive tests and the Giro would have ended up getting cancelled, or at least more teams might have had to pull out. So let it go, son. Just have a bit of a word. Just say, listen, you made me look a bit of an idiot there. Don't do it again, dickhead. Anyway, that's the news from the Giro. Let's head over now to Spain. The first rest day was on Monday. There was COVID tests and 0 positive tests came back. Anybody else think that's a little bit strange? Bearing in mind that Spain is on a serious lockdown compared to here in the UK. They've kind of reverted back to how we were back in March or April. So to have all those riders, staff members, organisers congregate in Spain, where threat level is high of getting the infection, it's great news. Don't get me wrong, it's absolutely great news. It means that there's a high probability that we will get through La Vuelta and end the season with, well, only a handful of races being cancelled. The biggest one obviously being Paris-Roubaix. But anyway, the stages commenced on Tuesday with stage 7. The winner of that stage was Mickey Woods from EF Pro Cycling. He was in the break, a massive break of 36 riders. And in there, someone leave a comment down below. Sepp Kuss was in there. Why? I didn't understand that. Ineos Grenadiers led the peloton for the majority of the day. McCarthy, now this crash by McCarthy wasn't picked up on the TV cameras, but look at these pictures here. Look how far his bike is away from him. Now that's the type of stuff you see in MotoGP, not necessarily bicycle races. So how fast was he going, and what the hell happened for him to end up that far in a field and his bike to end up even further away? Because if he'd have ridden through the field and crashed at the point where he was down, it would have scrubbed so much speed off, the bike would have hardly gone anywhere. So he must have crashed on the road, he's rolled, and then the bike's gone even further. Luckily for him, 0 breakages of those bones, so they've pulled him out of the race as a precaution, but it looked like he was, he looked worse than he was in the end. So fingers crossed that he makes a swift recovery. But Jay McCarthy, yeah man, huge crash. As I said, the stage was won by Mick Woods. In third place was Alejandro Valverde, which helps him move up to 9th overall in GC. He ain't going to win it, but it's just nice for him to be there in the top 10, isn't it? Stage 8 is today. It's going off as we speak. I will bring you the results of that tomorrow, unless something awesome happens, and I'll probably make a video of that later on today. And we're barely, 4 or 5 weeks since the end of the Tour de France, and the Tour de France 2021 presentation was set to take place tomorrow. Due to COVID, they've rescheduled it for Sunday. It's now going to go live on TV rather than be in the auditorium with the riders and the journalists and the big presentation. It's all going to be done live on TV. So I'll bring you all the news on that presentation on Monday. We'll check out that route for the 2021 Tour de France. Now, one team that might be, probably, most definitely will be getting an invite to the 2021 Tour de France is Alpecin-Fenix. They finished top of the leaderboard at the UCI Europe Tour rankings, which was published by the UCI on Tuesday. In second place, there you can see Arkea Semsic. They also look set to receive the invites across the whole of the UCI World Tour races in 2021, thanks to the fact that there may only be 18 World Tour teams next year. If that's the case, and NTT Pro Cycling lose their license, it will mean 2 of those top-ranked UCI Europe Tour ranking teams, I think, will get invites across the board to all those Grand Tours. Arkea Semsic normally get that invite to the Tour de France, being a French team, having the likes of Nairo Quintana, Warren Barguil, Connor Swift in there. But what this really means, and the most exciting part of this, is the fact that we're going to see Mathieu van der Poel at his first ever Tour de France in 2021. Back in the day, 2019 Tour de France, at the end of that, we spoke about what we think is going to happen in 2020, and Jesper mentioned, remember Jesper? Remember him? Anyway, he mentioned that Mathieu van der Poel is going to be a Grand Tour winner. I kind of poo-pooed it. I said Inga Bernal is going to be around for a lot longer. I still don't believe that Mathieu van der Poel is the type of rider who is going to be a 3-week stage Grand Tour winner. Definitely going to win stages, could easily go for that green jersey. But let me know your thoughts on this one. Seeing Mathieu van der Poel at the Tour de France, what would his expectations be? Do you think he is the type of rider that can do that? Now, we spoke about Wout van Aert in the past, and very similar riders from very similar backgrounds. Wout van Aert just keeps going from strength to strength and building on all his talent already. He's becoming a sensational climber. He's already a sensational time trialist. He is the whole package. However, you kind of feel that he's just missing that edge of what it takes to be a Grand Tour winner. Could he potentially be a Grand Tour contender? And if so, could Mathieu van der Poel be one? Do you think we could potentially see Alpecin-Fenix winning next year's Tour de France with Mathieu van der Poel at his very first attempt? I know I could be talking absolute rubbish there, but it'd be interesting to get your thoughts on it. What do you think to one Alpecin-Fenix getting that invite to the Tour de France next year, and Mathieu van der Poel being part of that team, and what are your expectations of him at next year's Tour? Let me know down below. And that's it. We're pretty much up to speed with everything going off in the cycling world now. Tomorrow we have a live stream. We have a live stream on Friday. We also have a brand new Zwift test video coming out. Recently, they nerfed the Canyon Air Road, so we're going to retest that. We've got a test on the DT wheels. We've got a test on the SL7 tarmac as well, so make sure you stick around for those. If you've not done already, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you head over to winyourdreambike.com and enter to win that Pinarello F12. That's your lot. I'm off for a massive editing session. Thanks for watching.